Hey everybody, I am on a trail and it's kind of like the 5:30 time and there's a lot of people around, so there's lots of noise, and I'm trying to go back deeper in the woods as opposed to the regular kind of sidewalkish type trail. So bear with me with the extra noise, the extra sounds. And I was just wearing a different pair of glasses, but I noticed that these must be a set of like glasses that have like the transitions built in, so that when it gets darker, when it has, like when it's sunnier in certain spots, then the sun, the sunglasses will kick in. And so I was noticing that they were going in and out, and I must have picked up I have two different glasses that are like a shade of purple, and I think I picked up the ones I didn't really want to pick up. But anyway, it is what it is, right? So we're on the trail, and some of this is a little bit damp because we did have a little bit of wetness around this area, so I might be looking down because I'm trying to pay attention to my feet. So bear with me, and I appreciate you being with me today. So I wanted to talk about, number one, the victory with President Trump and the peace treaty, and the hostages that have now been returned home. And I'm just really excited. I've been praying for that for a while, and it's good to know that people are back safe and sound. It doesn't mean that they didn't have their trauma. It doesn't mean that they weren't tormented. They were, but the fact that they're back with family, and that the possibility for their healing journey, can begin. So, I'm just really excited about that. So, on this whole idea of victory, sometimes when we look back, like even a couple months, and I like to use that time frame of 90 days, and I've used this time frame a lot with my clients, with my health and fitness clients, because 90 days you can truly see a difference in, like where you were and where you are. And that's not always is evident if you're like, oh, I'm just going to try this for 30 days. Like when you do something for 90 days, you truly do see the difference, because you're giving yourself enough time for the new disciplines, the new habits to take shape. And then you can look at that and be like, wow, and then again, in 180 days, that's in 6 months, you can really see a difference. And then in a year. So what I'm saying is, when you really start at the marker of 90 days, you're much more, I'm going to say, you're going to be more committed when you start out with a commitment of 3 months, of 90 days. And then your commitment is going to stay more steady, because then when you add on the next 90 days and now you have 6 months, again, you're going to see the changes. You're going to see the dramatic changes. And then, when you add another 6 months to that, then you have the year. And again, you can see a tremendous change in who you were a year ago and who you are now. So I always try to encourage my clients to commit to 90 days, because in 90 days, you really can see the transformation happening within yourself. So, in terms of where I was in January and where I am now, it really is remarkable to think that one decision of I'm going to do one detox cleanse then turned into I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to build on that, and I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to add this other habit to the other habits I have going. So really all it is about adding to your schedule, adding to your commitment level. And so, you know, like having a designated water bottle, for example, it's like when you know that your water bottle is 24 ounces and you know that, you know, you're going to fill this up, your goal is to fill it up 4 times, then you have like you have a designated container, and you're checking with yourself like, oh, okay, I drank this much water. Okay, now it's time to fill it up again. I'm on bottle number 2. Okay, I drank 2 bottles of water. Okay, I'm on bottle number 3. Now, maybe you get the 3 bottles done and you don't get to the 4th bottle, but you know that you drank 3 24-ounce bottles of water, and you're like, yes, you know, like you've kept your integrity with yourself, you've kept your word, and you're moving closer towards your goal. No, you didn't make it to the 4 bottles. You made it to 3 bottles of water, but you still got in 75 ounces of water, which is great. So I guess what I'm getting at is when you can see something tangible and you have a designated item that is for that particular purpose, like a water bottle, I think you're going to have more success instead of like, oh, let me just take this glass out of the cabinet and I have this little tiny glass of water. And it's harder because number one, the container is so much smaller and there's a reluctancy to keep it going. Whereas when you have a designated water bottle that's just for water, I think that you're less likely to be like, oh, I'll just use my coffee cup for drinking some water right now. No, like have a designated water bottle just for water. The other thing I want to talk about is just that when you start one habit, like drinking the water, and you start one cleanse, like you're going to clean out your colon, then your body starts to function and it starts to move forward in a positive way. And therefore, then you're starting to build momentum. And as you build momentum, then you're more likely to continue with adding more. So if you got your water situation going and you're like, okay, I know I can at least do 3 bottles of water today. I might not always hit 4, but I'm going to at least get in 3. And on a day where you're maybe just too busy or you're too overscheduled, maybe you only get 2 bottles of water in that day, and then you catch up the next day. But what I'm getting at is when you create a baseline of I'm doing this no matter what, you're going to be more successful in your other health and fitness goals when you can keep your word and your integrity to yourself about the simple goals that you know that you can keep and match. So then when you say, okay, I'm going to go for a walk, whether you do an indoor walking video, which I enjoy doing, and definitely sometimes when it's rainy and my ankle is more cranky on a rainy day than it is on a dry day, I may opt to do a walking video in place, you know, at home. And that's still a great walking alternative. Sometimes I may choose a flat trail instead of a really hilly or rocky trail based on what I've done at the gym, based on what am I doing in physical therapy. So all of those variables are going to play into your day by day in terms of what you can feasibly handle given the other commitments that you're already currently making. The goal is to just keep moving forward, keep adding to that baseline. So walking, no matter where you're doing it, whether it's walking with a walking video, walking in your neighborhood, walking on a trail, hiking on a trail, walking on a track, walking inside of the mall. I have certain friends that really are now not outdoorsy people. And so for those friends, when I go to meet with them, we may walk inside of a mall, or we may walk around the outside of a mall if the weather is okay. So what I'm getting at is, not everybody is going to have the same level of wanting to level up. So sometimes you have to modify and be like, okay, if I get together with this friend and she agrees to walk with me, then I am going to compromise on my intensity, and maybe, that day I'm not going to be hiking and having as many inclines for my ankle to work itself harder because I'm walking on a flat surface. But I have the company of, a friend that wants to gather and get together and continue on and have that, companionship and be able to talk about things in addition to walking. So again, sometimes you have to pick your battles, and timing and other people coordinating with other people's schedules. You may compromise sometimes on the logistics and some of the features or ideal things that you would prefer. But sometimes when you're involving or including another person, maybe sometimes you're going to be, sacrificing or not having your ideal format all the time. So again, where I am right now, I prefer just being on a trail. I prefer that way much over being on concrete. That's just my preference. I like to feel my feet against the earth. I like to feel and smell, the green and the wood. That's just my thing. So again, sometimes I may compromise and walk on concrete with a friend, or walk on a very simple trail because the other friend doesn't want to do the high inclines. The other thing that you can do when you're trying to add to your health and fitness is to add weights. Now, some people will choose the route, and again, I apologize for looking down, but there's a lot of there's some things I have to pay attention to right now. But when you want to add weights to your workout, you can just add a backpack. Whenever I'm walking on a trail, and if I'm walking with someone, generally speaking, if I'm just doing my roundabout tasks and I meet somebody, let's say at a mall to walk, then I may just have my regular purse, which is like a shoulder bag purse. I can always take those two handles of that purse and carry the bag as a knapsack. And many times I do that. But when I'm on a trail, I'm definitely going to wear a backpack, and I'm going to add weights into the backpack, whether I'm just stuffing it with gear, survival gear. When I'm out here, I might test, my matches, my gear, test, just using a knife, just carving a piece of wood, whatever. I'm going to practice my survival skills, and many times I'm going to have some kind of gear in my knapsack that's going to add weight to, instead of me just walking with a hip pack or walking with nothing. Generally speaking, I'm going to be carrying gear, and I'm going to be carrying extra weight. So by carrying extra weight, you can also elevate your workout because you're carrying extra weight. The other thing I have, and some people either love it or hate it, and it's okay, you can get ankle weights or wrist weights, and they're pretty, I'm going to say unobtrusive. Most people wouldn't really notice that you're wearing it, but it could, again, it's another way to add a few extra pounds, make it a little bit more difficult. They also have weighted vests that you can purchase, and, like extra 30 pounds, extra 50 pounds, etc. And so by practicing carrying the gear, you're elevating your workout level because you're carrying extra weight. The other thing that you can do is you can change up your workouts. So, like for today, I had physical therapy. And so I know that there's a couple areas that I'm primarily focused on right now for healing, but I'm also going to get homework from my physical therapist, and he's going to say, I want you to do these exercises. And many times he's giving me different and new exercises in addition to the ones he gave me the time before. So it's up to me to keep practicing the exercises that he's already given me. Some of them are using a ball and ball stability. Some of them are using like a racket ball and like doing real deep tissue massage and leaning in and holding a point to get out and release the trapped fascia. Other things are like stretchy bands, using the vibration plate to get the lymph drainage in, or you could use a rebounder. So what I'm getting at is, in addition to walking, in addition to drinking water, in addition to carrying extra weight, I'm also doing the exercises that are assigned to me by my physical therapist to rebuild my strength in my weak areas. And so when he gives me these exercises, there are times, and believe me, I'm human, there are times that I go home and I write it down, but I forget to add it to my routine. And the next week goes by and he says, Anne, it doesn't look like you did those neck exercises that I told you to do. And I'm like, Steve, I totally flaked. I totally forgot. Can you show me that exercise again? And it may require him showing me an exercise. Sometimes we will use my camera and do a quick video of him describing the pose to me and me actually doing it, so that I can go back and look at myself doing the pose to remind me what my homework is, okay? So there's many ways to do it, but that seems to be helpful for me. So it might be helpful for you. The other thing is, when you do these exercises consistently, okay, you're going to have, with that discipline, you're going to level up faster. But when you don't do your homework exercises and you're like, I don't really feel like doing that today, I'm sore, or it's damp today, I don't feel like it. I can tell you today is a damp day. And yes, when I walked into PT today, I was sore, okay? I just was sore just to begin with. But after he did what he did in the exercises, and then the stretching, and then the homework assignment, and showing me what I needed to do on my own, and now that I'm on the trail, this is all in the same day, I feel amazing. So that's what I'm trying to say. In the moment, you might have discomfort for the 15 minutes that he's stretching you hard, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I want to go lay down. And you may think that, and you may feel that in the moment. But what I'm getting at is, if you keep moving and you keep adding to your health and fitness routine, and you, even when you're like, I don't really feel like it, I'd rather go lay down and watch a movie. Like, I know that eventually this evening I am going to probably watch a movie. I'm going to lounge and rest. But the fact that it's such a beautiful day, even though it's at that dusk point, the temperature is fantastic. And the fact that I'm moving all the stuff that I already worked today in my legs, in my ankle, in my neck, in my shoulders, and I'm carrying weight right now. All together, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger because I'm building upon routines. I'm building upon good habits, and I'm not overdoing it. I'm just, okay, this was my homework assignment. I'm going to do what he told me to do. If I want to get well, I need to follow instructions. He's the expert in helping me to repair my injuries. Either I can listen to his solid advice and get well and have that type of recovery that I want, or I can choose to not do the homework. I can choose to delay my healing, and I can choose to still be stuck. I don't want to be stuck. So the point is, we always have the power of choice. So when you are deciding, hey, I want to have better health and fitness for the next 90 days, then you want to write down your action plan. Like, what do you want to do specifically? And so for me, it's, I'm going to continue with physical therapy weekly. I'm going to continue to do my homework exercises daily from PT that is going to rebuild those injured areas and gain strength. And I'm going to stick to my health in terms of what I'm putting into my body. And I'm going to document and record what I'm eating. I'm also going to be documenting what detox things I'm doing, either in connection with or when I'm eating a certain protocol, then I'm stopping that protocol, and then I'm detoxing for several days, and then I'm going back and adding in new foods, and I'm checking, did I have an inflammation response to that food? And I'm documenting that. No, I didn't. Okay, I can continue eating that food. Did I have an inflammation to broccoli? Surprisingly, yes, I ate broccoli the other day, and I had an inflammation response to that. So you're not going to know unless you isolate and you are test marketing, like what worked, what didn't work. How you doing? What worked, what didn't work. And you're continuing to add to your repertoire of, these are the things I'm doing for health and fitness. These are the things that I am willing to let go of. Now, I'm just going to share about a response that I just had. Now, I've been on this trail for just a little bit since I started this video with you all, and I passed one guy and I didn't smell any weird cologne or perfume. And now I just passed 3 women, 2 Muslim women, and 1 African American woman. And all of them had such heavy perfumes. It was horrible. Again, when you are detoxing and you are cleaning out your system, you are more sensitive to all of these chemicals. And a lot of chemicals are actually through fragrances. And a lot of women, they don't comprehend, and no one's taught them, or no one, maybe they just don't know. But the point is, it's really toxic. If I smell your perfume, you've put on too much perfume. There's a difference between the smell of an essential oil, which is like subtle, okay? And there's a difference between someone who takes, like some type of heavy perfume and they spray it. And not only do they spray it on their body, then they spray it on their clothes. And then the perfume smell hangs on their clothes, on their scarf, on their coat. So it's like the perfume is everywhere. It's like permeated into every surface. And it's like somebody walks by and you're just like, your nose is like, oh my gosh, I need my neti pot just to recover from all of that perfume. Oh, woo. So ladies, you know, when you're eating a clean diet, you don't really need all of those extra fillers or chemicals or perfumes, because your body looks good, your skin looks good, you smell good. It's different when you are eating healthy, you're eating clean, and you're detoxing. Like like my skin feels so amazing. The only thing I ever put on my skin is coconut oil, olive oil. That's it. I mean, I don't use any fancy creams or potions. You know, all that stuff is just a waste of money. And I look at it this way: if I can't eat it, I am not putting it on my skin. So I'm putting on coconut oil and olive oil, and that's it. And my skin is amazing. In terms of like, I know I got sidetracked with this whole beauty and smell thing. I'm sorry. It was powerful. All right. So now we're focusing again. So coming back to our health and fitness and setting a routine for 90 days. Okay. So you want to have a journal of some kind, and you want to write down what you are willing to commit to. You're going to walk daily. You're going to do some type of stretching. Now, whether it's specific exercises that you get from physical therapy, maybe it's a certain YouTube video that you like, maybe you like to do some Pilates, some mat Pilates. I also have a bar Pilates machine, so I like to do that as well. Sometimes I walk indoors. Most of the time I walk outdoors, but that's me. I prefer being outside. And that's in any type of weather: snow, rain, brisk, cold, sunny. I prefer being outside. So write down in your journal, like, what you want to do in terms of your health and fitness. Like, what are you willing to be committed to? And then write down, like, what your current size is when you start this. So write down that you're a size 14, okay? Write down that you're wearing extra large tops. Write down that you're wearing extra large bras. And write down that you're wearing like whatever size underwear. Whatever it is, write it down so you have a starting point of where you are when you start your 90-day process. And what I would do is, I had a scale, and I have one in my kitchen. And so I will, at the beginning of my day, when I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I pee, I come into the kitchen, and I stand on the scale. And I'm going to look at what that number is. When I'm doing my detoxing of the red enema bag, okay, the colonics, okay, with the enema bag, I've already written down what weight I was on the scale before I started doing the colonics. And then I'm going to write down what my number is after I've done the enema bag and the colonics. So sometimes, because a lot of stuff comes out, the number on the scale will be like 3 or 4 pounds lighter after the excavating of all that crap that was inside of me. Other times, I might have done it by taking in like 15 to 20 enema bags of water in one session. Okay, that's a lot, by the way. Some people only do 2 or 3, but I want extreme results, so I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So I'm doing 15 or 20 fill-ups of the red enema bag, and at that point, it's like I've gotten out whatever I can get out in that session. But because the last couple times I tried to do it, like, it will be like my body is still filled up with water. Like, it's like no more yuck came out. Okay. So in that case, I might get on the scale, and on that day, I might be retaining more water. And let's say the scale said 150. And then after I did the enema bag and I ingested a bunch of water, it might say 153. So it may say that I'm 3 pounds more because of all the water that I put in. So what I'm saying is, this whole thing of the numbers on the scale, you want to be gentle with yourself and not like be crazy rigid, because you have to understand that in this whole detox process, you're going to need to take more water in by drinking water, and you're going to need to take more water in through the enema bag. And some of that water is still going to be in your intestines and your colon. And then later on in the day, it's going to be pushing out and excavating more yuck. So the scale is going to go up and down. But here's what I can tell you with confidence, okay? You're going to look in the mirror and your face, which was really chubby, is going to be thinned out. And you're going to see a remarkable difference in your skin quality. That's a pure giveaway that you're losing weight. The other thing that you're going to see is that whatever pants you're wearing, and again, most of my pants were like a size 14. And right now I'm wearing a size 8 pant, okay? So what I'm getting at is, when you're wearing your pants and they just keep falling off, and then for as long as I could, I was wearing the pants with a belt so that the belt was holding up my pants, because I couldn't hold my pants up. Like, it was just like I'd be walking and my pants would be falling down. Now, I did make an investment the other day and got some new pants that are smaller. So these newer pants, you know, I'm at the size 8 mark, and they fit like nicely. They're not like too tight. Like, I don't have a muffin top, but they fit snug, okay? So you're going to be able to tell that you're losing weight because your clothes are going to fit differently and things are going to get baggy. And as your stomach and the bloating and inflammation goes away, you're going to see a flatter stomach. You're going to see that all of that gunk is getting kicked out of your system, and you're truly going to see a difference in the way that you look, in the way that when you zip up your pants, you have room. And it's amazing. So you're going to feel good about yourself. And again, you've got to make that 90-day commitment to really see what I'm talking about. Because for some people, they're going to see some change in 30 days, but you're not going to see as drastic of a change until the 90-day mark, because you really need those 3 months of consistency and discipline of creating those new health and fitness habits. Okay? So stay with me on this. The other thing that has become a part of my routine is doing a castor oil pack. Now, again, I've been doing this since January, and most of the time I'm going to say I do it every other night. Sometimes I forget, so that's why I'm saying every other night. But most of the time, I'm trying to make that part of my evening routine. I purchased this castor oil, kind of like a waist belt. And so I pour some castor oil on the padded part, and I, snap on or button up the castor oil wrap around my waist. And I leave that on all night long. Now, sometimes, depending on how I feel, what the weather, what the temperature is, because I am in menopause, I'm still going through that season of life with the hot flashes and that sort of thing. So depending on my normal body temperature, I may also add a heating pad to that castor oil pack. And when I do that, again, it's going to speed up the process of detoxification, so that in the morning when I get up and I go for my first pee and I take off the castor oil pack, after I have my first portion of water or lemon juice, like the Master Cleanse, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, honey, after I've had my lemon drink, okay, Like, I am just on the toilet, just excavating, okay? So what I'm saying is, that's because of the routine of doing the castor oil pack. And when you do things consistently, then you're going to have better results. But if I only did the castor oil pack once a month, I'm not going to have the same results as when I do it every day, okay? So again, consistency is the key to, you're doing all of these things with repetition and consistency. Now, the other thing that I've been doing is, you know, most people wake up at some point and they brush their teeth. But I'm not just brushing my teeth. I'm doing a tongue scraping. I'm doing oil pulling, oil swishing in the mouth with coconut oil or sesame oil. And I'm taking, doing hot cayenne pepper eye cleanse to, and you know, clear out these eye floaters in my eyes. Yes, eye floaters are parasites.